I kind of got it to the YouTube level, so I'm really excited. This is going to be my first video. I actually initially planned on doing a video that I was going to upload tomorrow, but I kind of got some free time tonight, so I decided to surprise the YouTube world with a first video. And in honor of my first video, I decided that I was going to get my Facebook friends to figure out what should be my first topic. So kind of a combination of two different comments I got on my Facebook was one person mentioned living together in general being an issue, and another person talked about how, you know, they live with somebody who is less than clean, and then they're a neat freak. So they were talking about having two totally different living styles and how that's an issue. And trust me, I think almost all of us have been there. You know, when you go to live with somebody for the first time, and it doesn't matter how well you know them outside of living together. There's always going to be something that you're going to learn about someone that you didn't figure out until after you moved in with them. I know for me and Casey dated for 2 years before we actually moved in together, and I am the neat freak, and he's really not a nasty guy. Like, most men have a horrible reputation for being just absolutely gross, how they never flush a toilet, they leave a toilet seat up, they leave stuff out all the time. He does have a really bad habit of cluttering cans and cups on his bedside table, but I'll give him that. That's not as bad in comparison to some other things that I've heard. So, but the one thing that we've really, that I used to have issues with was he would get home from work, and I would have cleaned the entire apartment, and he would just like strip down out of his clothes and just leave them on the floor. To this day, he still does it, but it's not an issue as much now as it was, because when you first live with someone, you know, the first few months you're really excited, you're living together, yeah, you've made it to that step in your relationship, and everything's really great, they're new, it's awesome. And then once you get out of that phase where everything's have kind of calmed down a little bit, and you're like, okay, now you start figuring out things. Well, he really doesn't take out the trash that much, or she really doesn't do the dishes as much as she should, or blah, 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 whatever your complaint is going to be. So the first thing that you need to know, whether you're first going into moving together or you're sort of thinking about it, is you need to realize that you're going to have some area in your relationship where you're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to adjust. Nobody is going to be perfect. Just as much as you are upset about what they're doing, they probably have something that they don't like that you're doing also. So you need to make sure you keep that in mind, because maybe you think they're too messy, but they might think that you're too clean. And normally it's the girl who usually ends up being the clean person, and the guy is the slob. And in some relationships, like if it's two guys or two girls, it's the same thing. Someone's usually going to be messier than the other, and it's usually going to bother somebody. So the thing that I've learned from talking to, you know, just my friends, being in my own relationship, and then married couples, is sort of, and I know it seems super, super sexist, so I don't mean it in a sexist way, but as women, we tend to be the one who are going to clean up the mess. That's just how it works. But I think that the best way to go about doing this is making sure that you are keeping an open line of communication. Make sure that you are communicating, hey, you know, this is an issue. And make sure that when you're communicating one issue, they need to communicate their problems back. That way you're kind of going in you're venting one problem, they're venting one problem. So you're solving one issue on your side, and they're solving an issue on their side. It is kind of, because if you're putting all of the blame on one person, it's going to agitate that one person, and they're going to think that everything's their fault, and they're going to get angry at you. And the last thing you want in any situation is to have a serious amount of resentment for one person or the other. So I think that if you make sure to keep that line of communication open, and you're making sure that you're communicating your problems to them, and that they're communicating their problems to you, that will save a lot. Because, and I know that I'm sort of beating a dead horse here, because I know everybody has heard this, but you need to make sure that you're not bottling in any emotions, because take it from somebody who has done it, and I'm not that kind of person, but there have been times where I just really would have rather avoided the issue than actually going there and having the discussion, because the discussion seemed like it was way more than it was worth. And then later on, something else makes you mad, and something totally irrelevant to the situation entirely will make you mad, and then all of a sudden everything comes up. And that's the last thing that they want to hear, is just be screamed at over things that they didn't even know was an actual issue. So that's something I think is very important. Another thing that you need to do is make sure that you're distributing everything evenly. Nobody wants to be, I mean, it's the same way anywhere. In the work field, with your coworkers, or, with your friends. You want to make sure that anything you do is being done 50-50. You don't want to be doing all the work. They don't want to be doing all the work. So you need to make sure that if you have a husband or a wife that does all of the work, like financially they're doing all of the work, that you need to be doing all the work at home. You need to make sure that the house is clean, that the garbage is taken out, dishes are done, the pets are taken care of, litter box changed, puppy pads changed, whatever. You need to make sure that is the way it is. And if you're both working, you need to make sure that you're both putting in the same effort financially and the same efforts at home, because nobody wants to be the one who does all of the work, brings home all of the bacon, and then to come home and have to clean the entire house and have to make all the beds and take out the dog and all that stuff. Because then one person feels like they're being taken advantage of. And having been there before, it is not fun. So you need to make sure that is getting taken care of. And it's not easy, because any situation you're going to be dealing with two personality types. It's very unlikely that you are dating the same type of person as you. And usually when that happens, you tend to butt heads a lot more because you're so alike that you argue. So you have to make sure that you kind of have a common ground there where you can really agree and go, okay, here's what's going on. We need to discuss it. Also, and this is not necessarily what this particular video is about, but when it comes down to finances, something that will probably save your life, budget forms, which I was so anti-budget forms because I'm a very type A personality when it comes to finances. I handle all the finances just because I'm the type of person where I'm kind of a control freak about it. And I know if I do it, it's going to get done. It's going to get done right. So, but budget forms, for me, I was like, I can't believe you're bringing budget forms into my financial plans. I know what I'm doing. But it's actually a really good idea because it kind of gets you into a way where you can figure everything out, see where your money's going, and figure out how much you have exactly for splurges. For us girls, shopping, guys who like to go out and spend money going out to eat or buying video games or whatever it is that they like to do. I'm not a guy. I don't know any of that stuff. So anyway, back to living together. The thing is, mainly, is in any situation, like I said, you will have to compromise. And from what my older brother told me before I even lived with, Casey at all, he said the little things will sometimes cause bigger problems in your relationships than one big thing, because the little things will build up and build up and build up. So make sure, 1, you are keeping your line of communication open. 2, make sure that you are preparing yourself. It's not going to be perfect. It'll be fun. It'll be worth it, but you have to make sure that you are putting in your effort and they're putting in their effort. And 3, make sure, absolutely above anything else, you are putting yourself first. You take care of you. I know you love them dearly. They may be your significant other. They love your life, whatever. You are your star player, in the words of Cat Williams. You take care of you. If it is not healthy for you, then you need to GTFO. You need to make sure that you are taking care of yourself above all else. If it is not working, then you need to be honest with yourself. Say, you know what? I need to do something. This is not working. I need to do what's best for me. Said you may love them. That's awesome. You need to do what's best for you. So anyway, as always, leave comments. Let me know if there's anything else in particular you want me to talk about, and give me some constructive criticism. I'm glad that this is my first topic to talk about, and I hope that I will be giving you guys some more advice. If you guys have any other personal questions, feel free to send me a message or comment to me and just let me know what you guys think. I will see you all next time.